volume is the Gospel of Luke. Luke writes his Gospel to someone named Theophilus. He continues to write in Acts to the same person named Theophilus. And it basically chronicles the first 30 years of the church, from the day of Pentecost. Somewhere, obviously 32, 33 AD to about 63 AD is the time chronicled in the book of Acts. In Acts chapter 1, verse 8, Jesus told the disciples to remain in Jerusalem and that they would be endued with power from on high, that is the baptism of the Spirit, and that they would become witnesses in Jerusalem, in Judea, Samaria, and then the uttermost parts of the earth. And as we've walked through this book, you've seen that turn into the outline for the book. For the first 7 chapters are all about witnessing in Jerusalem. And then chapters 8 through 12 are all about witnessing in Judea and Samaria. And then in chapter 13, the gospel then goes out into the Gentile world. When we started Acts chapter 13, we noticed that there was a pattern of faithfulness that developed in the book. First, in 12, the church of Antioch recognized that there was going to be a need. There was a worldwide famine that was prophesied, which was going to hit the area of Judea particularly hard. And indeed, that did happen during the reign of Caesar Augustus. And so the church up in Antioch, Syrian Antioch, had determined then that they would go ahead and pool resources together and then send them down to the church in Jerusalem via the hands of Paul and Barnabas. And so the church of Antioch, having essentially been blessed by the church of Jerusalem, now determines to reciprocate. That is, to love them back. And in this case, it was through some financial help. And then Paul and Barnabas, or Saul at the time and Barnabas, faithfully delivered that money. And then when they got back to Antioch, we read then that the leadership in the church of Antioch had then begun to pray, to really seek God's will as to what was going to happen next. And the Holy Spirit had said, send Paul and Barnabas, put them on the mission field. I've got a purpose for them. And so they were faithful to seek God's will. Paul and Barnabas faithfully answered that call. And then landing